Hello, good evening. It's Tuesday. It's 8 o'clock, and it is time, of course, for the Tuesday clinic. Lots to talk about tonight. Of course, there was the dramatic win over Wolves. Seems like a long time ago, but it was our last game. Also, we're going to talk about the announcement of the ticket prices increasing for next season as well, which is not great news for a lot of people. We're also going to look into, of course, the Watford game at the weekend, another big game, and also the archive tonight. We're going to, obviously, in celebration of the Wolves game, we're going to look at last-minute winners, some of our most memorable, favourite last-minute winners from Arsenal. So a lot to get through. It's going to be coming up the other side of this. So it's the Tuesday clinic again. I think it's episode 22, maybe 21 or 22. I'm not sure, something like that. Anyway, we've got a great panel, as you can see, joining me tonight. Of course, as always, Melvin, how are you doing? You had a good week?
Yeah, not too bad. Worked a bit, not very good actually. Work is the lowest it's been for some time, my work, but I'm battling on. I'm glad to come here tonight to take my mind off it. Thanks for reminding me, Richard.
We don't talk about work on this show. It's all about Arsenal and stuff, so that's good. Dawes, I know you feel a little bit under the weather tonight, but thanks for joining us. Hopefully you feel a bit better soon.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, got that Arsenal spirit. I'll fight on and persevere through the show. Maybe if it had been a slightly more negative show, I might have dropped out, but it's a bit more positive at the moment, isn't it? So it's worth fighting through it.
It is indeed. And making his debut on the channel, actually, it's Ross from Aguna TV. All right, mate?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. Thanks for inviting me on, mate.
No problem at all. Good to see you. Just obviously, you've not been on the show before. Just to give everyone a shout out for your channel and what you're doing. I know you've not been doing so much on there lately, have you?
No, not at all, really, mate. I've just been too busy doing normal stuff like work and, stuff like that, really, and stuff. So, yeah, it's a hobby at the end of the day anyway, though. So, you do it as and when. So,
yeah, exactly. It's a hobby, and we enjoy it, and it's great to get the opportunity to talk about Arsenal with like-minded people once a week at least. So that's always good. So I suppose only really one place that we could really start this week, I guess, just going back a few days. The last game, rather dramatic. Obviously, all the drama happened in the last 10 minutes or so. We were losing for a long time. And I think maybe from the feelings that I'm getting over the last few days is that most people have almost forgotten the first 75 minutes of that game, which was actually quite poor from Arsenal. We struggled to make any impression at all. Wolves were leading. And then suddenly Mikel Arteta did one thing that I particularly criticised him for, and that was to make an in-game change to make a difference in the game. And he did it finally, and it worked. Brought Nicolas Pepe on, changed the formation, went to three at the back. Brilliant. And in the last 10 minutes, we got the goals, won the game. And that could prove to be not only an important 3 points, but I think an important moment in the season. So, Mikel Arteta finally looks as though he's learning that you can't stick with the same formation, the same pattern of play all the way through a game if it's not working. You've got to be able to change it. He did it. Fantastic stuff from him. But let's not forget how poor that first 70-odd minutes was. It's almost like everyone wants to forget about the first bit. Just remember the last 10 minutes, which was fantastic.
Sorry, is that for? Cut out.
For you.
No, you did cut out. Sorry.
Sorry.
I went to the game, and I don't agree with you 100%. I don't think we were that bad the first 75. We weren't great. I agree. The last 10 minutes, obviously 15 minutes, was very, very good. But at least we were trying to get forward. I've been at games at home where we've needed a goal and we've given it to the left back, to the right back, to the centre half, back to the keeper. Took half an hour to get it forward. It wasn't like that at all. We were actually showed energy. And we weren't actually doing much, but we were showing a lot of energy. And we had a couple of chances. I thought, and I've only seen it once, I thought we could have scored in the first minute. I thought Saka had a very good chance.
Yeah, he did.
Done better. I don't think it was one of his better games, Saka. But then again, he still had a very good game. That's the stand he is at the moment. The first 75, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it would have been disappointing not one, and we think, what can we do? But we were trying. We didn't put our heads down. We kept going. And if you keep going and make the right substitutions, you've always got a chance.
Yeah.
But I've got to tell you something. Being at the game, I was with Jerome, and he came out a bit late. I was still in the concourse, right? The atmosphere, 5-10 minutes after the game, was different class. I haven't heard that for ages. People were singing and buzzing. It was like the old days. It really was. And it's well, the last couple of months, even when we get beat, it seems like the fans are together. There's no divide anymore. I mean, the ones that are, it's just no divide. Even people that are like me wasn't sure about Arteta. I'm not saying he's the greatest thing going. He's not. I know that. But everyone's pushing in the right way. We're giving him a chance, and he deserves that chance and what he's producing. There has been an improvement. Whether it's luck or whether it's him, I don't care. It's improvement, so let's go with it. But the atmosphere was unbelievable. During the game, when the teams were coming off, and as I say, 5 and 10 minutes afterwards, I was waiting for the sun to come. And I couldn't believe the atmosphere. It was just buzzing. And that's what you want. That's what you go to football for. And nights like that. You don't get very many of them, but I was very happy to do that.
No, you are, and I mean, I think you're right. I mean, Arteta seems to be. He is learning on the job. We know that when he took over, he's never been a manager before. And, he's come into the job sort of very inexperienced, and he's been learning over the last couple of years. And I think we've all been a little bit frustrated that maybe just the process has been quite slow, but it suddenly seems to be falling into place. I'm starting to see a lot more positive signs around the way that we're playing. His in-game management now is getting better as well. And I thought the game against Wolves really showed that he understood what needed to change in that game for us to turn that around and go from having no points to having 3 points. And he made the right decisions, and this is a positive thing. And he has started to do that a little bit more recently, and that's good to see. I mean, Dorsey, I know you've always stuck with Arteta all the way through, even when things weren't going too well. So it must feel good for you to see this now, how it's all kind of falling into place at the right time as well, when the top four is there.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that. Listen, I think he had so many obstacles, didn't he, when he first took over? We had obviously the pandemic, everything else, and let's not forget that squad that he inherited. It wasn't great, was it? It was full of a lot of bad apples, a lot of players that didn't necessarily want to be there. And I think over time, and this is kind of why I stuck with him, really, because I could see what he was trying to do. He was getting rid of players that either didn't want to be there or weren't fighting for the badge. And he's just had so much to contend with. But I have seen gradual improvement. But I agree with what Melvin said. It seems to be the process, if you like. It does seem to be gathering a little bit of pace now. Even when we do lose a game, it doesn't feel like it's going to turn into 3 or 4 bad results, does it? It seems to feel like if we have a one-off bad game, more often than not, it is a one-off bad game, and then we can kind of bounce back. So I know we've spoken about it on this show before, that the concern is if you have one bad result, it can turn into 4 or 5. And I know January wasn't great, but I think when you look at the performance against Man City, I thought that was a brilliant performance, and we deserved a lot more from that game. So, but I think what Melvin said just then, it feels so good having everybody pulling in the right direction. You haven't got people that have got allegiances to certain players, allegiances to certain managers. Everybody that's in this boat seems to be pulling in the right direction for the club right now, and it seems to be. It's momentum, isn't it? And it's such a key word in football, that if you can start gaining a little bit of momentum and consistency, then it will take you somewhere. So, yeah, I think we just got to manage our own expectations, take it game by game, and see where it takes us. But at the moment, especially with United dropping points as well at the weekend, I think it's it's a huge opportunity. It just seems to be getting a bigger opportunity, really, that we have to make the most of. So let's see what happens. But yeah, I'm glad to see that people are finally starting to see what Arteta's trying to do. It's good.
I mean, it feels a little bit, and what Melvin said about the atmosphere in the stadium and the way the fans are getting behind it, it almost feels a little bit to me, and maybe, fans maybe of my sort of era, maybe that, in the very early days of George Graham, when he came in, it was a young team. We'd been in the doldrums for a while, and everybody could see maybe better times ahead, and everyone got behind it, and it was exciting. And although it's, Arteta's been there for 2 years now, and it hasn't been straight away as it was with George, but it feels a similar thing is happening now to what it was back then. And we seem to be in that early stage of that kind of way it is. The fans are getting on board with it now. The atmosphere is a lot more positive. And, we've had a few 1-0 wins, which goes back to the George Graham days, last-minute winners as we got on Thursday. Everything seems to be heading towards that direction. Of course, we did finish 4th in George Graham's first season, which maybe is a hint towards where this season might go. Yeah, we'll have to see, but let's not get too carried away. I mean, Ross, obviously you haven't been on the channel before. I mean, what have been your feelings overall about Arteta, and what are your feelings? Have they changed recently in maybe the last 6 months or 4 or 5 months to what they were maybe before? Have you always had faith in him, or do you still maybe feel that he's still got a lot to learn?
I can't say I've always had faith in him. I think Christmas before last, when we had that really poor run of form, I've got to admit, I thought we should have gone then. I think it was really bad then. Obviously, when he first came in, he won the FA Cup, Charity Shield, whatever it's called now, Community Shield. Fantastic. I think now he's been in the job, like you say, 2 years. He's got his players in that he wants to. You can't argue against it. Yes, they're not every single player's not his, but he's completely shaped that squad, and his way of playing and everything is coming together now. I think that this is now where we're going to see really how good he is and where he can take us, And I don't think now no one can say he's not had enough transfer windows. He's not got his own players in. He's not had a chance to get rid of some of the bad apples, which he's done, And he has done some really great stuff there. Like, I'm completely fair with Arteta. Like, even if he's done something great, I'll say it. If he said something poor, I'll also say it, and stuff. But one thing I did like about him when he first came in is we knew how pathetic our defence was, and it'd been a running joke for season after season, and it seemed like he really targeted that at first. And I've got massive praise for him for that. He did seem to try and sort that out. But what I'd like to see from him now is just before this last Christmas, I don't know if you remember, we went about 3, 4, 5 games where it was almost like the handbrake went off and we were beating teams putting 3 and 4 goals past teams. And that's what I really want to see now. We've got this great stage here. I really want to see that handbrake go off and let's see if we can start doing that. Do you know what I mean? Because that for me would be like, do you know what? Yeah, brilliant, fucking brilliant. I think that's all we want to see as well. No, I've not always had faith in him, but we are where we are. And at the moment, he's doing okay this season. So let's just see where this takes us. I think not having European football and any cup football has really helped him this season. But let's see where we go. The jury's still out for me, but like you say, it's gathering momentum and it's looking positive. So let's go with it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I suppose in a sense, maybe this season in particular, there's a big opportunity. There's an opening for somebody to get that top 4 this season that maybe in previous seasons it's been obviously well out of our reach the last few years. And there seems to be an opening there now, isn't there? You've got teams like United are in transition still. They're not consistent. West Ham have done well the last couple of years. They've got the Europa League. They don't have strength in depth maybe. There's not obviously Tottenham. We know the problems that they've had and they're having, and all these teams that usually have been in the last few years, they've been the teams that we've struggled to match and keep up with. This season it's a massive opportunity, I feel, for us to get top 4. And I think at the start of the season, none of us really. I mean, I can remember we spoke about it on the channel. I don't think any of us was expecting us to finish in the top 4 this season at the start of the season, were we? Even with the signings that we'd made and everything else. And I don't think we were. But yet now, it would almost feel, and I don't know how you guys feel, but to me it would feel almost slightly disappointing if we don't get it, because it's such a big opportunity for us now with the games in hand situation, the points that we're on, everybody else dropping points right, left and centre. This is such a big opportunity for us to get maybe a bit earlier than was expected back into that top 4. I mean, Melvin, would you be disappointed now if we don't get top 4? Despite where we were at the start of the season, how we felt then? I know it's difficult because the season's sort of progressed, but would you be disappointed now if we came 5th or 6th?
Yeah, because you know why? Because we can taste it. That's why. We never thought we'd be able to taste it 6 months ago. It was out of our heads. If we just said top 4, they'd put a white jacket on us, but do up at the back.
Yeah.
So I don't, to actually think we're in with a very, very good chance of being top 4, I think it's so exciting. I mean, you would have thought normally this time of the year, not playing for anything. We've got everything to play for. Every game is a mini cup final, isn't it, for us? And you want to go to, I mean, it happened, I think, last year when we played Chelsea, was the first time that I've been watching Arsenal for ages and I was nervous about a game. While I was watching, I'm sitting there thinking, cool, we've got a chance of beating them. We're really doing well. Big team I'm talking about. Because years before that, big teams, it was all over in 5 minutes. And I didn't think we had a chance of beating them. But when you've actually got a chance of winning something, you've actually mentally got something to lose. If you think you've got no chance and you get beat, it doesn't matter, does it? But when you think you've got a chance and you lose, that's when you get heartbroken. It's the same with the top 4. Now we've beginning to look like we might achieve something. We can see it in our sights and we can reach it, we can touch it, but we haven't grasped it yet. We've got a long way to go. Is it 14 games we got? 14 games?
Yeah.
Lots to play for. You know, fate will play a big part in this as well. You know, there's lots of things, ifs and buts in football, as we know, with decisions, with injuries, with suspensions, with whatever. And I think that with a fair win, with a bit of luck, I think we can do it. And it will be disappointing if we don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what you say is right. I mean, it's the hope that kills you, isn't it? Especially as a football fan. You know, I'm actually quite happy with when you don't feel there's any hope of anything. Then you're not really disappointed because you've got nothing to be disappointed about, have you? But now suddenly this turnaround in this season and the way the season's gone overall, suddenly we've put ourselves in this fantastic position. And I personally would top 4. Even at the start of the season, we all said getting top 6, getting back into Europe was the aim. That's what we had to achieve. And surely top 6 now is looking really, really likely. But I would almost be disappointed with 5th or 6th now. Would you, Dorsey? Or do you feel as that we need to be more realistic overall of where we are and what this season really should have been? This season shouldn't have been about a top 4, really, should it? It should have been about getting back into Europe. But suddenly it's opened up. So would you feel disappointed if we didn't quite make it?
Yeah, I would now, given the situation that we're in. I do think that whatever the timeline that the club had set out to kind of get us back to where we needed to be, I think the aim would have been, obviously the last 2 seasons we finished 8th. I think probably the club would have said, look, let's get back into Europe. Let's get, if it is Europa, then it is Europa. And then we go on from there and then we push on to get top 4. So if we do manage to do it this year, I kind of think that it speeds it up by 12 months potentially, if that's the kind of the timeline that they've set out, which would make sense just to get back into Europe first and foremost, and then really kick on from there. But if we can skip that Europa step and go straight back into the Champions League, then it's only going to be a good thing for the club. What we want to do in terms of attracting players, we all know that there's going to be some big targets in the summer. We've got some big positions that need to be filled with big players. So if we can get top 4, that's only going to put us in a better position to be able to achieve that as well. So I think had we played the same amount of games as everyone else, I think it would still be very, very hit and miss. But I think given the fact that we've got the games in hand over, personally, I think if it's not us, then it will be United. I do think it'll be between those 2 clubs. But United just are not showing any consistency at the moment. And the fact we've got the 3 games, what do we go ahead of them? Is it 6 or 7 points we go ahead of them if we win those 3 games? You know, so that's huge. You win those, you've got 9 games left, and you've got to lose 3 of those for United to catch you. So we'll see. But I would be quite disappointed now. Yeah, we've managed to get ourselves into a brilliant position to be able to really, really go for it. And I think the fighting spirit that we've shown in a few of the games this side of Christmas, the Wolves game, you know, really pushing, fighting, not giving up to get that win. I'm hoping they can carry that on through to the rest of the season. And as long as we don't get any, touch wood, we don't get any injuries to big players that we really need to stay fit between now and the end of the season, which I know we've spoken about following the January window. That was a bit of a risk going into the rest of the season with what we've got, but it is what it is. And it's if we can keep them fit, you know, it's only 1 game a week from now until the end of the season, so certainly not going to be any risk of burnout. No. But let's see. It's a brilliant opportunity, and yeah, I think I would be pretty disappointed now if we didn't manage to get it over the line.
Yeah, I mean, it's in a way this season at this moment in time at this season, it's kind of similar feeling I'm getting in a different kind of way to in 2016 when we were, remember when we beat Leicester? We might talk about that when it comes to the last minute winners soon, but when we beat Leicester and we thought we had a chance of winning the league, and then obviously it didn't quite work out. We ended up coming second, but it kind of feels a little bit like that. There's an opportunity that we wasn't expecting, and that season we probably wasn't expecting to be in with a shout at the title, and in the end we didn't quite get that over the line. But it feels a little bit similar now. I'm just hoping that we can maybe get a better outcome this time, the outcome that we want, which is the top 4 as opposed to the title. But I mean, Ross, overall the season, I think if we finished in the top 6, that would have to be looked on as a good season because of where we've been and getting back into Europe. But it would feel disappointing now, wouldn't it, if we did come 6th or even 5th? 5th to me would be even more disappointing, maybe, because that's a real big opportunity missed, isn't it?
Yeah, totally agree with you, mate, and all the other guys, really. I think now we're in the position now where how many games is there left to go? Is there?
We've got 14. Yeah, 14.
And I think, like Dawsey said, we've got 3 games in hand on Man U, and I think even West Ham as well. Was that right?
Yeah, 2 or 3 on West Ham, yeah.
Something like that. He's got rid of all of the last bad apple in what he thinks is Auber. I just think that you're never going to have a better position. You've got 3 games in hand on these clubs. You've got no European football. You've got no cup football. Like it doesn't, all the elements are there for us to take 4th. We just got to, not balls it up. So we're never going to have a better opportunity. Yeah. So yeah. Of course, if we can't get 4th from this position, fucking hell, But I also know that it's Arsenal, so we're going to make it hard work for ourselves. We'll probably do it by a point on the final day of the season, after getting jacked, penalty and whatever else, But yeah, I mean, we're not going to have a better chance of getting in there. And I think we, if we just get that 4th in that Champions League as well, that would be massive progression for Arsenal under Arteta, I think. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It wouldn't also as well. I mean, it's going to give us a lot better opportunity to continue the rebuilding of the squad, get a better quality player coming in with a bit more money probably to spend because of Champions League money, and it will be a big opportunity missed if we don't make it. And I suppose that's the reality of it. Even though we would have took this position that we're in now, we were obviously currently 5th in the league. At the start of the season, we'd have took finishing 5th all day long, and now it feels like that would be a disappointment, which just goes to show how the season's gone really. Neil's in the chat there. He says, "Good evening, lads." Yeah, good evening, Neil. Hope you're well as well. Rajendra as well. Hi guys, how you doing? He says 3rd now. Go above Chelsea. Well, I mean, that's if we win our games in hand, that would be a possibility as well. I mean, I think that's a little bit optimistic to hope we could finish 3rd, but I suppose why not dream big? And Roberts as well. He said, "Hi guys, a bit late, but no problem at all. Good to see you again." So yeah, I mean, it's looking at this moment in time. It is looking at a massive opportunity, and I think it's so important that we grab that opportunity, because I agree. I don't think we will have a better chance than this if we don't make the top 4 this year. That could have a massive impact on when we're next going to be an opportunity to get top 4, I think, because other teams are going to strengthen. We may not be able to strengthen to the same level as we might with the extra Champions League money. And it's a big opportunity for us in the process, if you like, which I know we use a lot, even though we don't really like the word. But that would be a massive boost, wouldn't it, to get that now? And we've got such a big chance. It would be so frustrating, I think, now if we didn't make it. But games in hand don't mean anything unless you win them, and that's the thing. We've got some tough games and tough away games in particular to come, and it's not going to be easy, is it? And I think we need to be realistic maybe about where we are. We've still got a young team. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to drop points, lose games. But let's hope that we've got enough in hand, games in hand, and some winnable games as well, that we can do it and get it over the line. And it could be what we need to really make this maybe the start successful period for Arsenal, maybe going forward, back in the Champions League, getting better players in and building a squad that can compete for the trophies that we want to be competing for, obviously the Premier League and even in the Champions League as well. But I mean, something that maybe may make a difference to that, maybe we'll have to talk about it now. I mean, I think it's going to be particularly important to Melvin, who's got a season ticket, the recent announcement about the price rises, and see what we think about that. So, I mean, I know it's the first sort of price rise for quite a number of years, actually, isn't it, Melvin, on season tickets and ticket prices? But it's come at a time where, we're not in Europe. We've not been in the Champions League for a while. The team's going through a lot of changes. There's been the COVID thing. and now they're putting prices up when, you know, the cost of living is so high for everybody going forward. I mean, I suppose they had no choice to do it. But what do you feel? What impact do you think that's going to have on the fans in general? You know, obviously the increase, which is, you know, it's still a fair chunk, isn't it?
It's an Arsenal season ticket holder. Associated price, sorry, is quite dear compared to all the other grounds around the country. So the actual increase, what's it going to work out? Is it 3% or something?
Yeah, I think so. 4%. Yeah.
You know, for someone to go to football, you've got to put a lot of your, or some of your, what you earn, quite a bit of it sometimes, to go to football. So to give that a little bit extra, if you're passionate about football, it won't probably matter to you. No, it's not ideal. But then on the other side, you could say, well, if things are going up, Arsenal got to spend more. I know it's different because their electricity bill might go up £100,000 this year, right? But they're paying.
So ours.
Yeah, but they're paying 50 million. If they bid 48 million for someone or 50 million, does it really matter? You know what I mean? It's where they get these numbers from, right? You can't. It's not like you're valuing a house. You know, you're valuing a football, and what do you put that against? It's very difficult sometimes to value a football. We all got ideas what a football is worth, but we don't really know. So there's two bits to the business. On the transfer fees, what we get in and we pay are totally different to the running of the club. I know it comes out the same pot, or it should do, but you got to just take it away and say that's that business. That's what it costs us to run the club. And if we have to make an increase, we should. They're not doubling the prices. They're not going up 10, 20, 30%. It's going up, as I said, I think it's 3%. It's not a big thing. I can understand people getting upset and going, oh my God. But people that go to football, it doesn't just cost you the ticket money to get the football. You've got to travel. If you want to have a beer or whatever at the ground, you've got to pay double the price of anywhere else, right? It's you know, the ticket is probably 60% of the cost of going to a game, where years ago it was far, far less of a percentage, because you live near the ground normally years ago. You just get a bus to the ground, which you probably can't do nowadays with the way it's working. So I don't think it's a big deal. I think, you know, they're doing it. It's not the worst thing they could have done. They could have done far worse. So I'm not bothered about it. So.
No, I mean, yeah, you've made some good points there. Really, I guess it's just that it's like you said, though, isn't it? The football, going to football, is a lot of other expenses are involved in that, isn't there? You know, travel, there's food, and all this other stuff, which is getting more and more expensive as well. And then to put more money on the ticket price as well, on top of that, is going to add to people's issues. And you know, I know not everybody is going to be bothered, and I get that, but there will be a lot of fans that maybe will look at it and think, you know what, I'm not sure if now I can afford to keep going as many games as I was going before, and they might not be able to do that. And you know, the club have announced recently, or well, not so much announced, but it's been clear, and there's been figures produced about the wage bill, how much it's decreased this year. You know, and I know the club have lost money because of COVID, but the club seem like they've saved a lot of money, and they're going to put the prices up. The timing of it seems maybe doesn't quite sit well, I think, on that basis. Maybe. I mean, Dorsey, what have you made of that? I suppose that, you know, ultimately all prices of everything are rising, aren't they? I guess, and it's inevitable that prices of tickets are going to rise as well. But on top of everything else that's gone on over the last couple of years, the financial situation that we're in, generally, do you think that it's a good timing for the club to have done it for next season, or do you think maybe when they haven't done it for a long time, it's time it happened anyway?
I mean, in the sense of you saying about the wage bill and us saving money, we haven't. I mean, obviously that money's sat there, but it's not going to be sat there forever, is it? Come the summer, that money will get spent again, I hope, on some really good players. So, in terms of my opinion on the ticket, I mean, I don't have a season ticket. I've never had a season ticket, so Melvin will be in a better position to pass comment than me. But for me, the price increase is not the issue. It's the price of the tickets, what they were before. Yeah. From what we were getting for the price of that ticket. You know, given the fact that we've always had the most expensive season tickets since we moved to the Emirates, that for me was always more of the issue rather than the actual price increase, because you don't mind paying the money if you're competing for the Premier League year in, year out. You don't mind paying for the money if you're competing for the Champions League. But the fact that pretty much bar the odd one or two occasions since we moved to the Emirates, none of it's been massively positive, is it really, given apart from 16, 17 where we went close. But aside from that, there was no real justification for the ticket prices and the season ticket prices to be the price they were. So for me, it's not the increase, it's the issue. It was the price of the tickets in the first place that was that would have upset me had I been a season ticket holder. But listen, as you said, everything goes up. Everything goes up. You know, you'd like to think that you get a wage increase every year as well. So if you get that, then that covers it. So, you know, it is what it is. We're never going to pay less, are we? So it's you either, the bottom line is, in a nutshell, it's up to you whether you pay that money or not. If Melvin, for example, decides that it's too much and he wants to give up his season ticket, someone else will take it. And that's just the way it works, and that's why the club will continue to do that. So it is what it is, I guess. It's your decision at the end of the day whether you decide to continue to go or not. So if you decide you want to go, then you pay the price, don't you? It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's what it comes down to, isn't it, really? It's just a shame that maybe there's going to be more and more people that maybe have to choose. Because, you know, I can remember times when, you know, going to football wasn't a particularly expensive activity to do. You know, you could use your pocket money at the end of the week, go to a game, and it was great. You didn't have to think about the impact it would have on the rest of the month's bills and stuff like that. And you do now. I know that times have changed and this and the other, but I don't know. It just seems maybe strange as well. They've announced it now, as opposed to what most clubs do. They don't announce it until near the end of the season, do they? When the season tickets are up for renewal, then they announce the price increase. Because Arsenal announced it really early this year, before we know if we're in Europe next season, before we know what the situation is with everything like that. And they've announced it already, which, I don't know, it seems a bit early. I mean, Ross, what are you making of all this? You know, now, is it a good time to have announced it, or do you reckon they might have been better to have waited until at least we knew if we were in Europe first, and then at least maybe people wouldn't feel too bad? We're in the Champions League. I don't mind paying a bit extra for that.
Well, that's probably why they're announcing it now. They want to get people signed up before we potentially cock it up. You know what I mean? That's probably why they're doing it. In my opinion of it, I don't agree with it at all. You know, I think there's that famous quote by the Bayern Munich president, wasn't there, that said, "Oh, you know, we charge €30 a ticket. We could charge 70, but over the course of a season, it would be an extra £2 million. And what's £2 million to us? You know." By that in with, we've got a billionaire owner, we've got a global fan base, because it's not just, you know, UK based now anywhere. People buy merchandise, shirts, stuff like that. Is it really necessary? I'm not convinced, mate. You know, just what's it really going to bring to a club? Yeah, an extra couple of million. Where's a couple of million going? What player is going to cost 2 million? Nobody. So, you know, and I think just the fact that everyone's had a really shit, hard couple of years, let's be honest, I just don't, no, I'm sorry. And, you know, and again, tying in with what you guys said as well, that, you know, we do already have the highest season ticket prices in British football. So you tie all that together, and to me, no, I'm sorry. I understand what you're saying with inflation and things go up and stuff like that, but come on, I just don't think it's necessary. I mean, what's it really going to do? You're squeezing an extra few quid out of, you know, people who work hard and stuff like that, which isn't really going to, in the grand scheme of things, like you say, isn't going to really make a massive difference. You know, I just feel it's a little bit unnecessary. And I think they should have definitely stuck for at least another season, definitely.
Yeah, I think maybe another season, just to see where we are next year, you know, if we're in the Champions League or not and stuff like that. Go on, Melvin.
Yeah, just say you make a good point, Ross. Actually, you've gone against me, but I don't dislike you. You know what I mean? No, you make a good point. You do make a good point. But a couple of things. First of all, this guy makes a very good point. Robert Ron Mullen about fish and chips. You know,
yeah, I saw that one there. Yeah,
absolutely.
Don't forget the price of fish and chips in the cab.
If you want to spend a lot of money, very easy to Arsenal. It's not the best food in the world. In fact, I have only had it once. I won't have it again. It's not value for money. You know what I mean? I'd rather get to the ground a bit earlier, go for a drink somewhere or something to eat, and then go in the ground if I need to. To go in there is just robbing you blind. That's worse than the prices. But the only thing I will say for the club that I think is good, the season ticket holders, I think it's 0% interest. You can pay off for your season ticket, which I think is very good. It might be 1% or something interest rate, if anything. I can't remember now. Yeah. But that gives people a chance who perhaps couldn't stump up, which is a fortune, You think you've got to give the money in June, I think, a month or two before the season. So I think that's good. But you're right. I mean, we are paying through the nose. And also, when we moved to this new stadium, we were sold a dream. So does it matter? Does it matter? Let's pay the extra. You know, we were sold the dream. We forgot to ask for guarantees. So that's where we are.
I think that's another good point actually you made there, Melvin. Like, it's not just the cost of the ticket; it's train travel to the ground and back. It's a program. It's food in there. And like you say, if you go in a stadium, it's fucking ridiculous for like a hot dog and a beer. You know, it's if you bring your boy or your daughter along with you, you know, it's more money. You know, it's if you want a scarf or whatever, you know, it gets out of hand. You know, these are, you know, football's a working class sport and stuff like that, and I think just it's unnecessary. You know, we're paying enough. You know.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that Arsenal, you know, over the last couple of years, are releasing new training kits and new tops and new tracksuits every couple of weeks as well. They're getting money in from that as well because people buy them, and you know they've been really nice recently as well. So you know they're getting income. It's not like the income suffered. Yes, not having fans in the ground when the COVID situation was on obviously cost the club money, but I'm sure that, you know, getting back into Europe and in the Champions League is going to more than outweigh that anyway if we manage to do that. The merchandise that they're selling and all kinds of other stuff. And we mentioned, I mean, the price of the food, I mean, that is a good point because it is ridiculous. I mean, I would never, ever buy food in the ground just because of the price of it. It's just crazy. You know, the last time I had some food in the ground was when I actually was in the press box. I got it for free. It was quite nice, actually, because I'd have to pay for it. But I certainly wouldn't pay for I wouldn't want to pay for the food there, as nice as some of it can be. But yeah, I mean, it is an issue. And the ticket thing that you mentioned there, Melvin, about paying in installments is great, but what it isn't doing is when you've got the individual match tickets for people that go to games here and there and are not season ticket holders and want to go to certain games, and the price of a match day ticket, that's the problem as well, isn't it? Because you can't pay that in installments. You know, I'd like to pay for a match ticket, you know, pay it over 3 months. You know what I mean? 3 months wages, it'll be fine. But you can't do that. You've got to pay them up front, haven't you? And that's an issue as well, isn't it? And there's a lot of people now that do that, don't they? They haven't got season tickets for one reason or another, and they want to buy tickets every so often for, you know, 3 or 4 games every so often and stuff like that. And the price of the individual match tickets is going to be. I mean, it's a lot anyway, but it's going to be even more now. And I don't know. I think that I don't think it's the right time maybe for it. But I guess it's a business at the end of the day, and they'll look at their spreadsheets and they'll think, right, okay, we've got to try something, and we're going to put the prices up because we haven't put the prices up for a long time. And maybe that's what they've decided on a business basis, I guess. But yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, last time I had a season ticket at hybrid, I think it was about 450 quid. And I know that was a hybrid, it was a long time ago, and things have changed. But you know, and I know you couldn't possibly get a season ticket at the Emirates for that amount of money. Any club in London,
you could do, but you wouldn't be facing the pitch.
You probably wouldn't know. It might be a bit better like this. It might not be too bad. I mean, Rogerio's got a point about the women's. You know, it's £35 per game. Is it? Oh, it's £35 per game. Is it? I thought it's cheaper than that. I mean, I've got. Actually, no, because to be fair, no, for the Emirates games, we're going to 2 Emirates games, the Champions League and the Tottenham game at the Emirates. They're 20. It's cost me £46 for 4 tickets for the 2 games. So that's not too bad, is it? You know, and that's at the Emirates for the women. It just goes to show. Yes, I know the women's game don't get as much crowd and stuff like that, but it just goes to show that it can be done. And as Ross pointed out, you know, in Germany, the ticket prices in Germany are just ridiculously cheap, aren't they? They're sold out every week. And, you know, those clubs, you look at Bayern Munich, they're competing in the Champions League, they're competing at the top of winning trophies and everything else. So it can work if you get your business model right. And obviously, you know, clubs in the Premier League don't seem to do that, do they? Now, go on, Melvin.
Well, I'd tell you something. The last few years at the Emirates, not where I sit now, but where I used to sit, we had people sitting in front of me, had no interest in football at all. They'd be on their phones, they'd be going at something during the game. It used to drive me mad. I know they can spend their money how they want, you know what I mean? But they were talking the whole game, nothing to do with football. If you put the price down to 30 quid, the ticket at Arsenal, not it's ever going to happen, you'd get proper football fans in there, number one.
For sure.
People, I reckon people that come, like tourists come and go to the Arsenal, the same way as people used to come over to London and say, oh, I went to London, what happened? I went to the theatre. It's, you made it to the theatre in London.
Yeah, exactly,
Arsenal, cost me 90 quid a ticket. You've had a great holiday then. If they said they went to the Arsenal and it was 30 quid, they're going, "Oh, I ain't going there," and it might bring the real supporters back.
Yeah, that is a great point, and I think it would do. I think it would do. I mean, Vajendra's made a point there that they make £100 million for match day revenue. Yeah, with the TV money and all kinds of other stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know. It does seem as though, fans seem to get the raw end of the deal with everything, don't they? With kickoff times, with ticket prices, with travel and everything else. I don't know. I just feel as though fans are getting a raw deal, really. And Robert says there, yes, Ross, they say the club has been hit by COVID, but the fans have lost jobs and the number is very... I know, exactly. That's the point as well, isn't it? While the club have been hit by COVID, how many of the fans have been hit by COVID as well? People losing their jobs, losing their businesses, all kinds of other stuff. So it's, it is a big problem. Rajendra says there he takes his own popcorn and sandwiches. Well, there you go. Just don't let anyone see you with them because you will get thrown out. Rajendra says their Bournemouth prices are much better, but not enough cafes for the week. We don't need cafes there. You know what I mean? You can, like you said, you can take your own food, can't you? But it is good value actually. The women's game is good value actually. To be fair, £12 a ticket I think it is for a home game at Boreham Wood is top level football. It's great. So yeah, there's that to think about as well. Neil says there with the situation between Ukraine and Russia and imminent price rises due to economic impact, it was not the right time. Yeah, that's a good point. And you outprice true fans. Well, you outprice a certain section of the true fans, definitely. Because as Melvin said, the working class fans is that now, but that's always been a heartbeat of football. And if you price them out of the game, you're going to lose a lot, aren't you? Neil says I've been going to the club area on 3 occasions. And I've been told to shut up when I started to sing. That's another issue.
I've heard Neil's voice. I'm not surprised.
That's fair enough. But yeah. And Neil says all the people around me were chatting about everything but the game. Yeah, that's what obviously Melvin just mentioned that as well. So what are they there for? They're there for because it's cool and trendy to come to football these days. I mean, the last time I went to the game on her phone, and then she would quickly disappear every 5 minutes outside somewhere, come back on her phone again, and then it's like, well, what are you doing? I just don't understand it. Just don't understand it. If you want to talk on your phone to your mates, stay at home and talk to your mates on the phone, or go down the pub and talk to your mates. Don't come to football and spend the whole game doing that. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, that's modern football for you, isn't it? I guess, and unfortunately, that's where we are with it. But anyway, hopefully, maybe the price increase might get rid of all them people, and it would just be left with football fans. Maybe that would be ideal. But anyway, probably won't happen. No. But anyway, so I mean, yeah, I suppose overall, apart from Melvin, no one else is happy about the ticket prices. So they're all on Melvin next season. You can just buy us all tickets. They're increasing, so that's good. But I wonder, obviously, we, in celebration of the Wolves game and the last-minute winner, which has been quite rare in recent years, actually, but we used to make quite a habit of it. And I'm sure between us, we've got quite a few good memories of last-minute winning goals that we can look back on in the little archive section from this week, which is going to be good. Obviously, there's a famous one there in that picture. Andy Linegan's FA Cup winning goal in 1993, the latest ever goal to win an FA Cup final, 121st minute it was of the replay. So that was one of the most famous ones. There's been, of course, very, millions and millions over the years, but I'm sure we've all got some great memories of. I'm sure there's a couple in particular that we'll all remember. Melvin, what ones stick in your mind? Maybe some unusual ones you've probably got that none of us would have remembered at all.
I'll do what I normally do the early ones to give everyone else a chance. Otherwise, so the first one I can remember that I went to was at Highbury. We played Spurs semi-final League Cup 1969, and John Radford got a goal in the last minute of the game. It was a 2-leg affair. That night game, the atmosphere was unbelievable, and that was fantastic. Also, when we got to the final, we played Swindon, and Bobby Gould scored a last-minute equaliser. And what that did actually is make us have another 30 minutes of pain. They beat us 3-1. You know, with Division 3 then, that was horrible. Last-minute equalisers don't count no, Melvin. It's only last-minute winners that we're talking about. Sorry, all right. There's some last-minute goals that are very, very important that weren't winners. I'm going to
go on then. Go on then. We'll let you have a couple.
Ray Kennedy against Anderlecht. 2-legged affair. We were 3-0 down, away goals count double, and he got one in the last minute, make it 3-1. Gave us every chance, we did it. Obviously, I was at the Spurs. I was old enough to go to the Spurs game, 71 at White Hart Lane. That was unbelievable. But what happened was when we scored, we were going mad. And then because of that, Spurs upped their game, didn't they? When they were 1-0 down, they just went at us. And they had a shot that went past the post by an inch. I'm sitting behind the goal of Paxton Road end and going, oh, so it went right across. So that was a good one. Now then, this is interesting. 1978, we played home to fun enough Wolves in the FA Cup, right? We got a corner in the last minute. I think it was 1-1 at the time. And Rixie went to take a quick corner, and George Berry, the centre half of Wolves, had a tussle with him. They had gotten a bit of a fracas, and George Berry threw a punch. George Berry got sent off in the last minute, and we scored the winner. I think McDonald got it.
He had a big afro, didn't he, George Berry? Is that right?
Yes,
He's the one, isn't he, with that big afro? I remember him, yeah.
And the funny thing was, both of them played for the under-23s of England before they... I don't think George Berry played the full cap, but he played for both, and they become best mates, evidently, after that. They both played for under-23s. A couple of others. We played at 79. Was you watching Arsenal in 79, Richard?
Yeah.
Do you remember when we played Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Cup 5 times?
Yeah.
Liam Brady was outstanding in most of those games. He got an equaliser in the last minute at home. I mean, we were going out and he got a fantastic goal in the last minute. And what's the other one? Obviously, Sunderland Man United. I went to that, the cup final. That was different class, that one. But it was 2-2. Had the game gone on longer, I think Man United would have beaten us. They had all the momentum. They just scored 2 goals in about 3 minutes. And that's an equaliser. I'm not doing that one then. These are all equalisers, sorry. Oh, and also, I'm just going to go to 87 if you don't mind. Obviously, Rocastle against Spurs.
Of course.
League Cup. That's in your heart, that one, isn't it? It's in your heart.
Yeah.
I've got others, but I'll leave you to it.
I think the Rocastle one is probably my favourite ever last-minute winner that Arsenal have ever scored. You know, and I know obviously 89 was the most famous one, I guess, but for me, that Rocastle one was just everything. A semi-final against Tottenham, they'd be led 3 times. It was Rocastle that got the goal as well, and what he meant for Arsenal, and that was probably my favourite ever one actually. And that memory of being at that game was probably one of the greatest ever memories I've had of watching Arsenal in 45 years, and that's probably the most special one actually. And every time actually, it's probably people remember the Michael Thomas goal, of course, we say a last-minute winning goal for Arsenal. But for me, that Rocastle was the first one I think of. Whenever I think of a last-minute winner, it's always that one above anything else because of what it meant at the time as well. Don't forget, that was, we hadn't won a trophy for a long time. Tottenham were maybe at that time perhaps a better team than us. They'd been more successful in those recent years. And to do that was just amazing. That will be my favourite ever one. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, I would have mentioned it anyway, but that was just incredible. I mean, Dorsey, what are your kind of favourite last-minute winners that you can remember? There's been so many. The good thing is there's so many that we can all go through hundreds each and we still wouldn't get it.
Yeah, exactly. So I made a note of a few. So we got Spurs away from home in '93. Ian Wright scored a late winner in the 87th minute at White Hart Lane, which was, I remember that one. And 2 that stuck out to me straight away actually were the 2 Chelsea games at Stamford Bridge. Both finished 3-2, 97 and then again in 99. So Winterburn scored that absolute screamer, which what a goal that was. And then obviously the Carnu hat trick. So those two stuck out at me. I remember Man United at home, Man United away, Adebayor in the last 5 minutes in 06. I think up until we beat them last year, that was the last time we beat them at Trafford, wasn't it?
It was in the league,
back in 06. So I remember that one. And then again the following year against United at home when Henry scored that header. Van Persie, I think he broke his foot, didn't he, in the equaliser?
He did,
got the equaliser, and I think that was quite late, wasn't it? The equaliser from Van Persie.
That was 2 late goals there as well.
Yeah, Henry didn't score many headers, did he? But that one kind of stood out. And then just another one I made a note of was Van Persie again, which was against Liverpool in 2012. That volley that he scored in the 90th minute. That funny blue half and half kit that we had. There's definitely been some good ones, but I didn't go any further forward than that because I thought I'd let someone else name a few more as well. So, but there were a few that stood out to me.
No, some great ones. And that Van Persie one at Anfield, that was a fantastic goal. Actually, that was a season when he just everything he touched was a goal, wasn't it? He was just unplayable that season, wasn't he? Absolutely brilliant.
Alex Song gave him in a few, didn't he? He used to playing in.
Yeah, he did. I think Song might have got the assist for that one actually, from what I remember. I think it might have been Song that think that ball across to him.
It was.
He was unbelievable that season. That was a great goal. I mean, we've got a few late goals at Anfield actually over the years, haven't we? Important late goals. So that was obviously one of the best ones as well. So that's a great memory. That actually, yeah. I mean, Ross, you must have a few of your last minute winners, lovely dramatic goals that they are.
Do you know what, mate? Right, like I'm sure there's loads, and my memory's terrible, and I can't. I'm sure there's loads that I'm probably just too pissed to remember. But the one that really stands out is the obvious one, 89, Mickey Thomas. And I remember watching the game on fucking ITV before Sky came along, whatever.
Yeah, I did that.
And my dad got me into football. I was 7 years old at the time. Me and my brother was on the bed, and he ran through, scored the goal. And it's one of those old school beds that had like the wooden slats underneath.
Oh, yeah.
Down the bed, and we fucking broke the bed. That was my first ever memories of fucking football. And like, you just I know football gets a bad rep at times, doesn't it? But like, the amazing feeling and buzz you get when something like that happens is just incredible. And it's one of the first, it's one of, it's the most fucking, it's the best goal ever, right? And it's a memory I'll never ever fucking forget. And do you know what? Weirdly, I remember like 20 years ago, going down to Highbury with my mate, and there was a stall outside, and they were selling like videos. I know they're not around anymore, and they had like the 1989 Arsenal beating Liverpool. So I bought it and I put it into my VCR, which sounds fucking stupid now. Basically, just recording the actual footage on ITV, and all the footage had Bobby Robson on there and everything. All the footage leading up to the game was all Liverpool this, Liverpool that. It didn't give Arsenal a fucking chance. If you ever get the chance to look at the original footage from ITV, it just completely wrote us off. It was just, Liverpool this, we're going to, whatever. And, mate, it has to be that goal. I mean, like, from what I remember, isn't it? It's right. We couldn't just beat them 1-0 at Anfield. We had to go there and beat them 2-0. We did it in the last minute. It just doesn't get any better than that. And for me, that is what football's all about. It's just that is fucking amazing, And it doesn't get any better than that.
No, it is. It's exactly what football's about. And you're right. If it was possible to, that feeling that you get a last minute winner, especially in a big game, if you could bottle that feeling and sell it, you'd be a billionaire overnight, wouldn't you? Because everybody wants that feeling in your life, and you only get it very, very rarely. And although Arsenal have got a lot of last minute winners, it still happens only very rarely. But it's such a special moment. You just can't beat it. Whatever game it is, really. Even Wolves the other night, it wasn't as important a game, but that last minute goal, it gives you that feeling that you just can't get anywhere else in your life. No matter what else you do in your life, you'll never experience it. You could pay a fortune for drugs and all kinds of other stuff. You'll never experience what you experience, a last minute winning goal. You just never will. It's impossible. Nothing else can do that.
I just say that when I was on the couch watching that, and I could see myself, and I had an out of body experience. I really did. Because as he went through, I could feel myself going up, and I was saying to myself in my head, if he misses this, I'll never watch another football game again. In that split second, it was all happening to me. And then when it happened, I went mad. I went to Highbury and I met a few friends up there. And I actually said, which is stupid, which I've said a few stupid things, and that was another one. I said to me, pals, right, that's it. I can also give up football now. I've seen it all now. I'm never going to see anything like that again.
That's exactly what I thought at that time as well. I thought that there's no point going football anymore because nothing's going to match that. You're never going to top that again. So what's the point? You might as well just give up and do something else with your time. Yeah. But obviously you don't do that. And 30 odd years later, we're still going to football. But there's one you might remember here in the chat there, Melvin, from Robert. He says, John Radford, my hero. Do you know he went in goal when we were down to 9 players in the FA Cup? I think it was a semi-final. It was against Stoke, wasn't it? Not Ipswich.
Stoke, wasn't it? It was Stoke. And we got through.
It was Stoke, wasn't it, when he went in goal, didn't he, John?
We drew that game. We beat in the replay.
And we won the replay. Yeah, I think was that 72 or 72 it was.
71. We again had a replay against Stoke, but that was when Peter Storey got the last minute equaliser with a penalty, and we beat him at Villa Park. That was the first time I went to Villa Park was for the replay. That was an amazing evening. We murdered them. They were down and out. They were so close to getting through, and we were big favourites to get him through. So basically, just turned up and done what we had to do and went home.
Must have been a shame for them. Regeneral says obviously last minute of Man United in the cup final 79, of course. Yeah, that's probably the most famous one. Robert says here, Liam Brady won me £700 against Man United. I jumped so high I destroyed my ex-wife's coffee table. Pride and joy. Swiped me winnings, but couldn't steal my joy. Yeah, exactly. That was a great day as well. And Regeneral says there's Sunderland in the FA Cup. Yeah, that was another one. Thierry Henry, of course, scored last minute winner. At Sunderland. Neil says it has to be Anfield 89. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the top last minute goal ever scored in the history of football, let alone as Arsenal fans, just in football history ever. You know, everyone said about Aguero, no, I'm sorry, but Michael Thomas more than tops Aguero. Don't even think about that.
Yeah, definitely.
And Neil said, I mentioned that one that Dorsey mentioned, the Man United one at the Emirates when Van Persie injured his metatarsal. The atmosphere was insane. Yeah, that was a great game. That obviously Robert mentions Liam Brady. Liam Brady didn't score, did he, in the FA Cup final? He was just brilliant.
He made a couple. He was different class.
Yeah, he set him up. He didn't score one, did he? And he said, Robert says that we could do a Liam Brady midfield today. Well, we certainly could. I think a lot of teams could. Regeneral says a 71 Charlie George in extra time. I mean, that wasn't the last minute of extra time though, so we're not going to include that one. Neil says we had to beat him by 2 clear goals. Liverpool, yeah, we did. As our goal difference was the same, we won on more goals scored. Yeah, we did. Yeah, incredible that. And Neil says it was like slow motion. It was, yeah. It's like the world stopped, didn't it? The world almost stopped for like 30 seconds, and it felt like about 5 minutes, and it was literally over in seconds, but it didn't feel like it. And Neil said, I was so hysterical that my family came running up the stairs thinking I was being attacked. Then I just broke down in tears and went, no, it definitely was a one-off. There's no doubt about it. It'll never happen again. And we were lucky it was us.
Obviously, there was a film made, wasn't there, about it? If the film would have been made and the game hadn't have taken place, so just someone made up the story, not one person would have gone to the film. They would have said, what a load of rubbish. How can you expect us to believe that would ever happen?
Yeah, no, you're right. Exactly that. Stan's in the chat as well. He says, "Good afternoon." It's afternoon where Stan is in Vancouver. Hope you're well, mate. And Robert says, Liam made it. Oh yeah, he made a lot of goals, didn't he? There's a couple on my list that we haven't maybe talked about. Some maybe not quite as famous as others. One of my favourite ones ever was in 1984 against Coventry away. We were actually top of the league at the time. Unusually, we'd been 1-0 down. We equalised, Tony Woodcock, and then in the last minute, Paul Mariner scored the winner, and all the Arsenal fans ran on the pitch. That was a brilliant day, that. And
I went to that, Richard. I was at that game.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Was you behind the goal, was you?
Sorry?
Was you behind the goal?
No, I wasn't. I was at the side. I just figured myself with my 2 pals. We didn't sit, we stood near the halfway line downstairs, and there was hardly any people there. It's a very small crowd, as I remember. I might be wrong. And we went berserk. We scored one. We thought, got out of jail there. And all of a sudden, as you say, I think Mariner got the winner. We went berserk. It was brilliant. The old Highfield Road. Oh, that was great.
Well, we were 1-0 down, and Pat Jennings saved a penalty, and would have been 2-0. And then we came back and won it in the last minute and to stay top of the league.
Wasn't it? Ken Hibbert, I think it was.
I think it might have been, yeah. It wasn't a very good penalty, but Pat Jennings saved it, and then obviously we ended up winning the game. So that was a memorable one. That was a good one. I don't know, you might remember this one, Melvin. It was the game against Norwich where we won 4-3. We had that, well, there was all that, aggro at the end of the game. Lee Dixon scored the last minute. There was a penalty, but he missed it, but he scored the rebound. It all kicked off after he scored.
I tell you who lost his temper that game. Never seen him lose it before or since. David O'Leary.
And Alan Smith.
Oh, I remember O'Leary going berserk. He was.
Yeah, O'Leary. That was his record, wasn't it? He beat the record appearances that day, didn't he? He scored as well in that game, and it was he beat George Armstrong's record for a number of appearances. Yeah, and obviously it all kicked off at the end. That was a great last minute goal there. I think we might have been top of the league then as well. Actually, that was good. Obviously, we mentioned the Ian Wright one at Tottenham. That was a great one as well. That late goal at Spurs in '93. That was a good one. What else have we got here? Actually, I remember one. I don't know whether you guys remember in the Invincible season, we'd had a terrible start in the Champions League. We were about to get knocked out. We played Dynamo Kiev, actually, which is quite ironic at the moment, talking about Kiev. We played them at Highbury. We had to win or we'd have got knocked out of the group stage. And it was a last minute. Ashley Cole popped up with a winner in front of the North Bank. That was an important last minute goal, actually. And not really.
It was like a diving header, wasn't it? Wasn't it quite?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. I don't even know what he was doing up there. And it was last minute of the game. And Ashley Cole, the left back, popped up with a winner and got us.
That was North Bank, wasn't it?
At the North Bank, yeah.
Did Lucian play for them?
I think he did in that game, yeah. I think he might well have done because he did play for them, didn't he? A couple of years before, after he'd left us. But Ashley Cole got that goal. That was an important last-minute goal actually, which was pretty good. There was obviously the Thierry Henry one at Sunderland, his last ever goal for Arsenal. That was a great game to be at as well. I enjoyed that one. What else have we got? I don't know if you got obviously the Welbeck one against Leicester. Everyone remembers that one when they were top of the league and we needed to win, and Danny Welbeck come back from injury, scored that header in the last minute to win that game. That was an exciting one. We thought he was going to go and win the league. And then there was a couple of last-minute penalties from Alexis Sanchez against Burnley. 2 games running. You got last gasp penalties, one away and one at the Emirates. Important goals they were at the time, and they were pretty good. Burnley didn't really like us much at that time. And of course, the most recent one before Wolves that I remember, and I don't know if there's been any in between, there was that Danny Ceballos winner at Sheffield United in the FA Cup the year, of course, he won the Cup when he popped up that last-minute winner, didn't he, away at Sheffield United in the COVID kind of season with no fans. And I was a bit gutted because I had a ticket for that game, and of course there was no fans in when they played it, so I was a bit disappointed about that. But I don't know if there's been any last-minute winners between that Ceballos one and the one the other night, because I can't remember too many in between. Can you guys, but like in the last year or so, apart from the Wolves one, have we scored a last-minute winner in between that Ceballos one and Lacazette's one the other night? I can't think of one.
I don't think so, because I don't think recently, the last year or two, we've actually thrown a kitchen sink at anyone the last 5 minutes.
No.
We've seen some games.
We've got a couple of equalised, didn't we?
We seem to play the same pace.
Well, we got the equaliser against Crystal Palace, didn't we? Lacazette scored that as well earlier this season with that 2-2, but they're not a winning goal. I can't actually remember a winning goal apart from those two. Actually, under Arteta, there might be the only 2 we've had under Arteta, actually.
Yeah.
Possibly. I can't think of any others. There may be 1 or 2 that I've just slipped my mind. But I was thinking about it earlier. I couldn't think of any. I don't know whether you guys had thought of any, maybe under Arteta that we'd put one in between those 2. I can't remember, actually.
No, I can't remember any.
But there was a time back in the 80s and 90s in particular where we seemed to get a lot of last-minute winners just in the regular like normal games in the league that maybe didn't seem important at the time. I remember when away at Man City once we got battered and Wrighty popped up in the last minute and won it, and we seemed to do that quite a lot really. They didn't seem that important in the overall scheme of things, just a run-of-the-mill league game in September or whatever it was, but we did that quite a lot actually. We don't seem to do it much anymore, do we? Which is a shame, because I quite like, as we said before, a last-minute winner. You just can't beat that feeling it gives you, and I like to, it'd be nice to experience that a bit more, and hopefully now maybe this will kick us on, and we might do that a bit more again, because that'd be nice. It'd be nice to get a few more late winners.
Didn't Arteta score a late winner against Man City? At the end, was 2012 or so?
He did, yeah. I mean, I don't think it wasn't last minute, was it? But it was maybe last
87th minute or something, 86th minute or something. It was
yeah,
late, wasn't it? But,
it was a good goal actually, wasn't it? From outside the box, it was a great goal actually. Yeah, he did get that one. Yeah, that was a good goal. Actually, another one I just remembered actually. I've got written down here. I don't know if you guys remember Champions League away at Anderlecht. Podolski scored. We'd been 1-0 down. And then right at the end, Gibbs equalised 89th minute, and then in the 91st minute, Podolski got the winner. It was just a standard group game in the Champions League, which didn't really mean a lot, but it was an exciting finish to the game. I just remember that one. That was a good one as well. But yeah, there's been literally hundreds, hasn't there? I remember Nicholas Bentner getting one against Hull as well when we were top of the league in, 2010, and he scored a last-minute winner away at Hull. That was pretty good. Obviously, Lord Bentner popping up with the goods as he tended to do on a regular basis. Neil says Bold scored 2 from corners in the Champions League. That was in the semi-final of the Cup Winners' Cup, wasn't it, against Sampdoria? That was. He won me a few quid that night, Steve Bold, while scoring those goals actually. So I'll always thank him for that. But yeah, they wasn't last minute. That was in the first half. Those 2. But yeah, he did get 2 goals in one game, which was unusual because
I just thought of one, Richard, from earlier days. Paul Vasson in the semi-final, the Cup Winners' Cup.
Oh yeah, the Turin, yeah, Juventus away, 1980, yeah. That was a real famous goal, actually. That one that's maybe not mentioned enough these days. Obviously, Paul Vasson, God rest his soul, didn't quite make it at Arsenal, but that was a fantastic. We was the first English club ever to win away at Juventus, wasn't we? Or even in Italy, I think, anywhere. So that was a big one as well. Actually, I've forgotten about that one. Terry's in the chat as well. He says, "Evening, Richard." Dorsey and Neil is in the chat as well. Of course, sorry I'm late. You haven't got a proper job, Terry. Don't lie. If you got a proper job, you'd have finished at 5 o'clock like everyone else with a proper job does. You know what I mean? That's when all people have got proper jobs finished. If you finish work at 8, 9 o'clock at night, you haven't got a proper job, have you? You work in a pub or something.
It don't count, does it?
They're not proper jobs, are they? Proper jobs 9 to 5, mate. That's what you want to worry about. Obviously, you know, we do have a last-minute winner. Let's hope maybe this weekend we've got a game coming out, a big game against Watford. Maybe we might get a last-minute winner then. Who knows? I've got to be honest, I'm under no illusions that this is going to be a tough game, actually. I know Watford are struggling, but they need the points. And, you know, Roy Hodgson is an experienced manager who can get results in games when he needs to. And, you know, we've got a decent record away at Watford in recent years. I know the last time we played there, funny enough, it seems a long time ago. The last time we played at Watford was that 2-2 draw when Unai Emery was in charge, when we I think we conceded the most amount of chances ever in a game. We were 2-0 up cruising, and in the second half we got absolutely battered and we were lucky not to lose. And that was the last time we played away at Watford, actually. It seems a long time ago. A lot of changes have happened at Arsenal since then. Aubameyang scored both goals, actually, as well. So, yeah, Watford away then on Sunday. Really important game this, because the position that we're in the league, if we can get a fourth consecutive victory in the league at this point in the season, that would be a fantastic result. But I think it's going to be tough, because I know Watford are a bit hit and miss. They did get a good result against Man United last weekend. Are they playing tonight, Watford, or not? Or is it they got a game this midweek? I'm sure they have. Is it not? Or maybe not. But anyway, we know it's going to be a tough game. I mean, Melvin, what are you expecting from Watford? Do you think that we're going to make... I don't think we'll make too many changes, because we can't. We haven't got a big enough squad. But are you expecting Tomiyasu to maybe come back in? He's not played in his last couple of games. Smith Rowe was ill, wasn't he, against Wolves? Do you think he might come back in as well? And how would we accommodate Smith Rowe? Bearing in mind, you know, Martinelli's been playing well when he's been in the team. Obviously, Odegaard's playing really well. How do we accommodate them all? And will he do that against Watford away, or do you think he might be a little bit more conservative being an away game and maybe not play all of those great attacking players, or maybe stick an extra midfielder in or something, El Neni maybe, or somebody?
No, I think he'll probably play the same team. I mean, it's not as if we play every day. We've had, 8 days, 9 days between games. You can afford to play the same 11. Consistency, that's what you want. I know it's not our best 11, but it's probably, for that game, our most consistent. We want to be consistent, and I'd play that team. What I will say, it makes a difference of how we're going to play Watford. If we play Watford, they're going down the flanks and in high, long balls into the middle, those big defenders will eat it up and say, thank you very much. But if we can try and play around them, you know, like we did the other night, these little one touches outside the box and run around them, they won't be able to live with us, I don't think. I think we do. That would be better for us. You know, once you start hitting long balls against these teams that are not fancied so much, you give them the confidence, they're heading it out. It's meat and, what's that expression, meat and drink for them. And they get more and more confident. And we as players and supporters, the players and us, the supporters, get more frustrated as the game goes on. But if you're doing nice little 1-2s around and I don't know which way to look, and we've got the players to do that now going forward. And I think that's the way, hopefully, we'll play. So I think you should, in my opinion, play the same team. Against that, I can't believe I'm saying leaving out Smith Rowe. For me, I'd play him anywhere. He's my favourite Arsenal player. I think he brings so much to the team. He just keeps the ball moving. He's always one step ahead of any other player, what he's going to do with the ball. You know, I'll always look for a place to accommodate him, but perhaps I go against the grain with myself this time and go, you know what, let's just play as we are, see how we go. We can always bring him on. And that is something we can, you know, we haven't got that many players we can bring on the change. You know, Pepe did it the other night. We ain't got that many players. So I think to have Smith Rowe, you know, and even if we don't need him, bring him on for 30 minutes, give him a little bit of a run out, and then he'll be there, hopefully, for the next game, you know, playing 90 minutes. But for me, it's difficult for me to say it, but I think he'll probably keep the same team and keep Smith Rowe on the bench. I
mean, he is our top scorer, Smith Rowe, of course, 10 goals this season, which is, I read somewhere he's the youngest or Arsenal Academy player to score 10 goals for quite... Someone mentioned Cesc Fabregas, but Cesc Fabregas didn't technically come through our academy, did he? He came through Barcelona's academy, so I'm not quite sure where that's come from. But it's been a long time since a player that young has come through the academy, has got 10 goals in a season. So, you know, he is in great form, and it would be a tough one. I mean, I suppose the other one, Dorsey, would be Pepe, because, of course, he came on the other night and made a big impact, didn't he? He scored a great goal. And he made quite a good impression in the previous game as well, didn't he? Against Brentford when he came on, played pretty well. So do you think maybe is he edging for a start? And if so, who would you maybe leave out? I mean, I suppose the obvious choice would be Saka, but would you leave Saka out when how well he's been playing? It's tough, isn't it? You know, we don't seem to have a big squad, but there's certain positions where you think, how can you fit all these players in at the same time? Because you can't.
Yeah, I agree with Melvin. Actually, I don't think he'll make many changes at all, if any. I actually think Cedric's done. He seems to be getting better in every game. I think he's played well in the last few games, and there's obviously a question mark over Tommy's fitness, whether it be this recurring calf issue or whatever. But I mean, you've got a player in Cedric that's doing all right. He's doing his job and he's not making mistakes. So he certainly doesn't deserve to be dropped in my eyes. But I think that would be one of the few changes that he might make. And again, it depends on how fit Smith Rowe is. They mentioned an illness. I saw somewhere it was COVID. I don't know what it was, whether it was COVID or just another illness. So it depends on how he feels following that. I think today was only his first day back in training. So normally I would agree with Melvin again that I would try and find a place for him because he brings so much to the team. He drives everybody forward when he gets the ball. I think you would want to try and fit him in there somewhere. But Pepe's an interesting one. I wouldn't drop Saka for him for sure, and Martinelli I think he gives us something that other players don't in terms of his runs behind the back four, because we don't. I know we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. Excuse me. We don't have a lot of players that make those runs behind the back four, whereas Gabby does give you that. So I think I would be more likely to give Pepe a bit longer. So instead of bringing him on with 15 minutes to go, bring him on and give him half hour maybe, and do it that way. I probably think he's going to go with the same starting 11. I don't see Smith Rowe coming back in as much as I'd probably like him to. I don't see Pepe starting, and I don't see Tommy coming back in either. I think it'll be the same. He'll just go again with the same 11.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny thing with Arteta because you always feel as though a player in the past, maybe not just at Arsenal but elsewhere, but particularly at Arsenal because we notice it more. A player maybe makes an impact in a game a couple of times, comes off the bench and does well. You'd almost expect them to start the next game, wouldn't you? Because that's always tends to be how it's been. You know, a player will make an impact and they'll get to start. But I agree, even though Pepe has made a big impact, and I mean, he came on and changed that game against Wolves, didn't he? 100%. You know, we wouldn't have won that game if he hadn't come on and done what he did. So, surely, in my mind, maybe that's just, going back how football used to be. You'd say, well, you come on, you made a big impact, you deserve to start the next game, you'd put him in, and you'd find a way of getting him in the team, maybe. But who would you leave out? And Arteta isn't one to do that, is he? He's very structured in what he does. He likes to play a certain way. He likes players to do a certain job from the start. And maybe he feels that Pepe can't do that job from the start of a game because he hasn't started. I can't remember last time Pepe started a game in the league. It'd be, I mean, has he even started one this season in the Premier League, Pepe? I'm not sure if he has, but it'll certainly be a long time ago. So I don't know. I'm a bit interested. I mean, Ross, what are you thinking, Ross, then about the game on Sunday and the starting lineup? Do you think that, or would you throw Pepe straight back in the team again, or would you be more a little bit maybe reserved with it, like I think Arteta's going to be, and maybe not starting? But he probably deserves an opportunity, doesn't he, with what he's done the last couple of games? Yeah,
definitely. Do you know what? I think you're absolutely right, mate. I think Pepe changed that game against Wolves, and I would start him. I would. And I know it's difficult and go, well, you'd leave out, but I would definitely start him. I think in Pepe, it's an annoying one, that there's a fucking good player there. We just need to get the best out of him. And I think when he came on, he was actually really good. I think last season, funny enough, against Wolves, when they actually played him on the left-hand side, he's a left-footed player. And I think if you play him on the left, he just got so much more confidence. I think he scored a goal against Wolves at Molineux, didn't he? Did he last season?
He did, yeah. That's right.
He through two players and stuff. Yeah. I personally think he's a different player on the left. And I would definitely start him. And he completely changed exactly what you said there, mate. He completely changed the game, and we wouldn't have won it without him. No. So I would totally do that. And I don't think there's any wrong or right in it. Like if he doesn't perform after, let's say, an hour of the game, take him off and sub him off for whoever you swapped him for. But yeah, I would sort him for I would start him against Watford, definitely. I mean, Watford are in kind of free fall at the moment. I know they got a draw, didn't they, at Old Trafford? But they're kind of in free fall at the moment. So I would definitely start them. And I think as well, like for me personally, I know it doesn't really matter. Me personally, I would like to see more fluid, gung-ho sort of approach for Arsenal, as opposed to this tiki-taka stuff that's a little bit slower and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think after you made that difference, I would definitely start against Watford. I mean, it's not all playing like Chelsea away, is it? So, yeah, I would definitely start him.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if he deserves an opportunity to start a game, it'd have to be now after the impact that he made. But maybe Arteta sees the same. Maybe he is a very good impact substitute to come on against a tiring defence and cause them problems. And that's exactly what he did last week. And is that maybe not a better role for him? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it is. We don't know because he's not started many games, so it's difficult to say can he have that impact from the start because he's not started, has he, for a while? So we don't know. But yeah, I mean, if he's going to start him, I guess now would be a time, like you said, a game against Watford away would probably be an ideal game to start him. Funny enough, Watford are a team that's got a player that could be a replacement for Nicolas Pepe. I think that Emmanuel Dennis. I think he's absolutely been sensational this season for Watford. What a great player he is. And yes, he's a little bit greedy and, he needs to work on his team play a little bit more. But if he came to a club like Arsenal, you could see that happening with him. And I think he would be a good signing for us, actually. And it'd be interesting to see how he does against us because he's their big threat for me, isn't he, Emmanuel Dennis? He's the one who gets most of their goals. He's strong, he's quick, he's skillful, he's got great feet. He can obviously score goals. And to me, he's the one we need to watch. And, playing in the sort of wide areas, I've got a feeling that if we do play Cedric, or maybe even Tomiyasu, who's perhaps not 100% fit, that's going to be the side that they'll target. I think they're going to get Emmanuel Dennis down there and run at our defence on that side of the pitch, and I think that's where we'll need to be really careful, actually, because I think he is a great player and he's had a great season for them. And if they're going to stay at Watford, they're going to need him to keep playing the way he has done because that's what they need. They need to score a few more goals and get a few more results. But, I mean, do we think they'll stay up? Melvin, do you think Watford will stay up, or do you think that they maybe once again, one season up, one season down again like last time, or do you think they might be able to survive? Because there's a big battle actually at the bottom, isn't there now?
Well, yeah, it's different. I mean, Newcastle would have thought, I know they got their money. They didn't spend a lot, Newcastle, but the managers turned that around. They're out the equation now.
Yeah, they are. They've got
also, Burnley have turned the corner as well. So I think Watford, I know that Leeds might come into the equation now that weren't in it, say, 6 weeks ago. I think Watford, they could definitely be in the shout for coming down. I think they probably will.
Yeah, I don't know. Everton are in trouble. Leeds, like you said, Brentford are sliding. They haven't won a game for ages. I think there's a few teams dropping in. Yeah, Newcastle have got clear now, and I think they're going to be fine. Yeah. But I think it's a big battle at the bottom, actually. It's probably just as exciting at the bottom as it is the top four, actually. Who's going to get that fourth place? Who's going to get those relegation space? I mean, Dorsey, do you think Watford will go down? Or do you think maybe Roy Hodgson knows how to keep teams up, doesn't he? He's done it before. Do you think that they might just survive?
The flip of a coin, isn't it? With a few of the teams that are down there at the minute, it's going to be who can pick up 2 or 3 wins between now and the end of the season will probably be the difference. But I normally you get a bit of a new manager bounce, so I think Everton will probably be all right, although they are right in the middle of it. I think Norwich will definitely go down. I think Burnley will definitely go down, and I think it will just be one other, so it'll be Watford or someone else.
Do you think Burnley will go down?
I think they might struggle. Yeah, I think they might go down. Yeah, I mean they're drawing tonight against Leicester, which I know would be a decent point for them. But yeah,
they're picking up.
It depends how many goals they score. They don't score a lot of goals. That's the problem. I know they signed that centre forward, but yeah, I think their time's come. I think they might go down.
Well, I mean, they're one of the teams at the bottom that's getting results. They haven't lost for a while. They draw a lot of games. Yeah, they're not winning enough, but they're getting points as they go along. And I can see them getting out of it, actually. Dyche knows what he's doing. And Hodgson knows what he's doing. I think he's interested, actually. I mean, Ross, do you think Watford may well go down, or do you think that Roy's got enough and they've got enough decent players to survive? Because it is tight down there. But do you think someone else might? I think Brentford might be in trouble, Brentford.
Yeah, I think Watford are kind of in free fall. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what they do over the next few games because they did get a draw away at Old Trafford. but it'd be interesting to see what they do there. But I do think they're in free fall, and I think they will do. You know, I disagree. I think Burnley. Do you know what? Right, that manager there, I can't even remember his name now, but like that guy, he's got fuck all money to spend, and he, you know,
Sean Dyche.
yeah, he's got fuck all money to spend. You know, he's got players in there, proper old school 80s, 70s team, strong, good in the air. You know what I mean? And I think he'll get him out of it. I really do. I generally think that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And I think would he get him up to 8th one season? I mean, Christ, why didn't get manager of the season that year? Jesus Christ! But I think Burnley will survive because they've got the players. When you're in a relegation battle, they've got the fucking players to get out of it. You know what I mean? Whereas I think Watford are kind of in free fall a bit. I think they'll go down. It'd be interesting, like I say, you know, if Dawsey says if they do pick up 2-3 wins on a trot, that'll make a massive difference. So this next, you know, few games we'll wait and see. But you know, as things stand, I think they will go down. But yeah, but I totally think Burnley will stay up because of the players they've got and the manager.
Yeah, no, I agree. They've just bought a 1970 centre forward as well, haven't they? So he's I bet he'll bang in a few goals and probably keep him up. Neil, with Neil in the chat there, so he's going to go. He's got to shoot off. Yeah, cheers, Neil. We'll speak to you soon, mate. Have to get you on the show. Cool. So we keep saying it every week. Things happen and we can't quite make it, but I'm sure we will. So Russ in the chat as well. He says good evening, and he says good to see Ross. Indeed, it is good to see Ross. So that's cool. So yeah, I mean, I think Burnley will survive as well. Actually, yeah, I think Dyche knows what he's doing. He knows how to get results when it matters, and I think they'll just have enough to stay up. But it's looking interesting down there. Yeah, I think Norwich are definitely down. It's 2 others. You know, Everton will probably survive because they never get relegated. Everton today, they've had a few close grapes over the years. They always think they managed to survive, don't they? So I think they'll probably end up surviving. I think maybe Brentford, yeah, and possibly Watford. It'd be a shame for Watford actually because you know they train the other side of the wall, don't they, at London Colney? So you know it's like they're almost like our reserve team, aren't they? So you want to almost see them do well. Now that obviously Deeney's left, who was an absolute knobhead. Now he's left. There's no reason to not like Watford anymore, is there? You know Roy Hodgson's there. He's a nice guy and everything else. So I hope that they survive. But I think it's going to be difficult.
I still don't like him because of Troy Deeney. He'll always
yeah, but he's gone now. I can forgive Watford because he's gone. So there's nothing not to like about him.
Let it go, Dawsey. Let it go, mate.
I can't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's gone.
Mate, just put it there. Everton. That decision. That was fucking handball every day of the week.
Well, yeah.
I don't know how they worked that one out. I mean,
no.
Anyway,
it's crazy. It was crazy. I mean, the funny thing is,
look at the screen. It was fucking handball. He's controlled with his arm. Come on.
I mean, the fact that Frank Lampard made those comments after the game, and then the referees association come out and say sorry. When have we ever got sorry for all the mistakes they've made in their games? You know what I mean? They don't even say sorry to us. They just ban us even more. It's like, what's going on?
I know, it's ridiculous.
By a point, you know, if they go down by a point,
and it's that,
yeah, sorry's not really going to cut the mustard, is it?
No, it's not.
He's got VAR. It's clear as day. He's controlled it with his arm. It's handball.
Yeah. What's VAR for? What's it for? If it's not meant for that,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I saw it live on the box, and the second it happened, 100%. I said it ain't. I said it's not going to be a penalty. It's never going to be a penalty because it's Man City. I couldn't see it first of all. What happened? I thought it could. I didn't know. The first time I saw it in real time, I couldn't tell. It looked like a penalty.
When you see the replay.
It doesn't. Yeah, when you see the replay, I still wasn't convinced they were going to give it Richard. But I tell you something, you know, if that was a red and white shirt, that'd be a penalty all day long.
Do you know what? Right, I don't want to get into the whole, you know, there's the agenda against Arsenal because I don't believe there is. But like, the problem with VAR is you've got people who you don't know who they are in a room somewhere looking at these decisions, and it's like it's difficult to see that it's not corrupt. There's people making decisions that you don't know about, and it's just like, did anybody see the Man United versus Aston Villa game at Old Trafford? Did anyone see that? When it was that goal that was eventually taken, striked off by Aston Villa. Now, they looked at the decision. They were looking for offside. They couldn't find the offside. Then they looked for a second player who was offside. He wasn't offside. And it went on and on and on. and eventually they ruled out for some Mickey Mouse foul on Cavani, I think it was.
Outside, it was the edge of the box or something, wasn't it?
Exactly, and it was like they looked and looked and looked and looked and looked until they found a reason to disallow the goal. It was ridiculous. It was
That's what they seem to do. I mean, Russ has got an interesting point. He says Northern refs favour Northern teams, but Everton are a Northern team as well, aren't they? So I don't quite know how that kind of plays out, but I kind of get your point. They are mostly Northern referees.
Did you see there was a post on social media today and it had a map of the UK and where all the Premier League referees were born.
Yeah.
Not a single referee is in London. They're all hovering around Liverpool, Manchester, all that kind of area.
They are, yeah. I know. It's mad how that is actually. Surely you've got to have a balance, haven't you, from where people are from? And yeah, they're supposed to be impartial regardless. But I'm sorry, but if you're from Manchester and you're refereeing a Manchester team, you're going to have some sort of bias, aren't you? There's no doubt. Whether it's Man United, whether it's for Man United or against Man United, if you're from Manchester, you've got an agenda against one of those clubs. If you're from Liverpool, you've got an agenda against one of those clubs. But definitely, before you even start, you definitely have.
Yeah. Thing is, though, mate, with VAR, this is what I'm saying, mate. You've got people who you don't know who they are, you don't know what they're looking at, and then they're making decisions where like that. How could they not, that Everton decision, how could they not even get the referee to look at the screen? It was like, no, it's fucking clear handball. They didn't get to look at the screen. Yeah. No, it's corrupt. That's corruption to me. It
seems corrupt, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. It does seem corrupt, and unfortunately, that's not the only decision that's happened. There's been loads and loads of them, and we've been on the wrong end of a few, but other teams have as well. And it's ridiculous now. It's almost. I mean, I put a tweet out, I think on Sunday when I didn't watch the game live. I saw a match of the day, and it's actually almost hilarious how corrupt it is. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're not even hiding it.
And I'm not just saying that about Arsenal either. I'm saying that about other teams and the offside decisions, mate. The offside decisions, like, why are we looking at diagonal lines? Why can't we see straight across? Well, the only reason why we can't see straight across is because they want to make their own decisions without people being able to go, "You're talking bullshit there. That's offside." You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's absolutely mental. And VAR was supposed to sort all this out, and it's just made it 10 times worse. Yeah. And it's ridiculous. But anyway, I mean, we're never going to, unfortunately, solve that issue until they kick out every single referee in this country and replace them with a load of different ones, or get some foreign referees to come in and do it over. I don't know what the answer is. Robertson technically says, "Good night, guys. See you tomorrow." Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for the women's game, of course. I'll be doing that here, of course. So join us for that. That would be great. Russ says there, Watford and Burnley need to get relegated. I don't know if Watford need to get relegated, do they? I quite like Watford. I mate, when I was growing up, a mate of mine was a Watford fan, and when Arsenal was away somewhere, I wasn't going. I'd go to Watford. I went there quite a lot when Luther Blissett was playing and Nigel Callaghan and people like that back in the 80s. And I've got quite a soft spot for Watford, I have to say. That their fan base, they've got some great fans. It's a nice little ground. And I quite like Watford, so I don't really want them to go down. Actually, I'll be quite upset if they do again, because I was a bit upset last time they went down. But so I quite like them to stay up. So they don't need to get relegated. Burnley, I can understand Burnley wanting to get rid of Burnley because they're very old school
as well.
I'm playing at the Emirates the other week.
Are they losing?
They are non-football, Burnley. They're thugs and non-football.
Yeah, they are a little bit, yeah. I just think it's a good away there, that's all. I quite like going there. But yeah, they perhaps do need to go down. But we'll see what happens. We need a score prediction, actually, Melvin. Watford on Sunday. What is your score prediction for Watford against Arsenal?
2-0 to us.
Oh, that's quite confident. You didn't even have to think about it. Straight out 2-0. I like that. I like the confidence there. I mean, we're playing well at the minute, so we're going to start favourites, I would have thought. Ozzy, what are you thinking? Are you as confident as Melvin?
Got a funny feeling this will either be we'll either nick a 1-0 win or something, or it'll be 3 or 4-0. But I quite like 2-0. I quite like the sound of that. I'm going to go with Melvin 2-0. I'm quite confident as well.
Yeah, well, 2-0 would be very good. Terry in the chat there actually says, I feel confident this week. 5-1. As we're probably going to lose this one. No, don't say that. And Mark says, Terry, when was the last time we won 5-1 in the league? And didn't we beat Norwich 5-0 before Christmas, didn't we, actually? So it wasn't that long ago. I suppose 5-1, but 5-0 we beat Norwich, and we beat Leeds 4-1 as well. So, we've got recent history of scoring a few goals in away games against struggling teams. So let's Terry says, have faith it's going to happen sometime. Well, it has happened recently, so it might happen again. Who knows? I'm pretty confident it might do. Ross, what are you thinking then, score prediction-wise for Sunday, Watford against Arsenal?
I think we'll win 3-1. I think that, like, again, Watford are in free fall. I think they got a result at Old Trafford because let's face it, Man United are shit. But I fully expect us to beat us. To beat them. Sorry. Yeah, come on. Yeah, we're going to win this one 3-1, definitely, 100%.
Yeah, that's a pretty. I mean, Russ there says he's feeling confident, so he's gone for 1-0. That's not that confident, Ross. Is it? You know what I mean? 1-0's not that confident, is it? Away against a team in relegation, but 3 points is 3 points. Let's face it. I don't care how we get them. I'm feeling pretty confident. Obviously, I think the way we finish the Wolves game is going to give everyone a lift, a bit more confidence. I think we can go to Watford and just go for it. I think that, we've got a settled team, and we've got 1 or 2 players who can come off the bench now that can make an impact in the game. So I think we'll win. I think 3-1's quite a good shot. I'm going to go 4-1. Actually, I think Watford will. We'll be 2-1 up. I think Watford will throw things at us in the closing 15 minutes, and I think we'll get 2 on the break and win 4-1, and that'll be a nice way to finish that game. But I'm pretty sure we'll win. I'll be massively surprised if we didn't, but who knows? This season has shown us you can't take anything for granted this season, can you? Because there's been some weird old results gone on, and weirdly enough, here we are, could be in the top 4 at the weekend again. So let's see what happens. But yeah, I think we're all pretty confident that we'll win, and let's hope that we do. And then keep this run going, and it's 1 game closer, isn't it? Another 3 points closer to where we want to be, and that's all we can hope for. It take 1 game at a time, win as many as we can, and hopefully we'll end up where we want to be. So fantastic. Well, that's another Tuesday clinic out of the way. Good show it was there. Obviously, a lot to get through there. It was good stuff. Melvin, enjoyed the show?
Yeah, thanks. Really enjoyed it again as always. Nice to do it, Ross. Nice to meet you. Meet you again, hopefully. Dawsey's normal Dawsey, brilliant. And look forward to next week with a smile on our face, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, it's been a pretty good couple of weeks, actually, hasn't it, for Arsenal, which is good. So hopefully it will continue. Dawsey, I know you've not been feeling 100% tonight, but as a clinic made you feel a bit better?
I'm going to bed, mate. As soon as I turn this laptop off, I'm going to bed. Knackered. But yeah, like I say, it was made the most of it while we're in a bit of a positive run. So it's always nice to talk about Arsenal when it's going all right. So fingers crossed we can keep it going. And top 4 come the weekend would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be very nice. Good way to start the month of March. Obviously you get to March, the spring. The end of the season's not far away, and to be sitting in the top 4 at this point in the season would be a great feeling, wouldn't it? But then I suppose we're there to be shot down. That's going to be the problem, I guess. But anyway, Russ, I'm getting confused. Russ in the chat says, I'm feeling better. Thanks, that's good stuff. You're feeling so much better. You predicted a 1-0 win away at Watford, which is good. So you must be feeling better, which is nice. And Ross as well, good to have you on the channel for the first time. You enjoyed the show?
Yeah, mate, I loved it. It's been a while since it's been on someone's channel, so it's good to get on and chat to like-minded Arsenal fans and stuff like that. It's wicked, mate. So thanks for having me on.
No problem at all. Where can people find you on social media, obviously, because you've not been on before? Give yourself a shout out where people can find you.
Yeah, just Ross Schooner TV. I'm on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I've taken a step back this last sort of year on that, but I'm always on there. So yeah.
And definitely give Ross a follow as well, and check out his channel. 2-0 is it now?
2-0 now, Leicester. Yeah.
Or maybe Burnley will go down then. After all,
Come on, Leicester.
We were bigging them up so they're going to survive, and it looks like maybe they won't. But there's still a lot of games left. They've got a couple of games in hand, haven't they, Burnley? So you never know. But we'll see what happens there. Anyone on the channel coming up tomorrow, I'll be covering the Arsenal women against Reading. That's a big game at the top of the WSL. It kicks off at 7:15, so I'll go live at 7 o'clock for that. That's going to be a big game, so hopefully Arsenal can get the win. We'll increase our lead at the top of the table to 4 points over Chelsea, which would be good. So please join me for that tomorrow. Then on Friday, it's the Arsenal Women's Show. We'll be looking back on the Reading game, looking back on the FA Cup win at Liverpool, and looking ahead as well to a big game against Birmingham on Sunday. It's a big day on Sunday, actually. 2 watch-alongs. Arsenal women against Birmingham at 12 o'clock kickoff, that is. And then 2 o'clock kickoff, it's Watford against Arsenal. So I'll be live for about 5 hours on Sunday, so that's going to be fun. So if you're free and you fancy joining me for any of that, that would be much appreciated. I'm sure some of you guys in the chat will be watching because most of you are always in there at some point. So that'd be good. Look forward to seeing you then. Please give it a like before you go, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. So that is another Tuesday clinic therapy session over with. We're all feeling better apart from Dawsey, who's going to go to sleep now and recover from his little cold that he's got that he's making a fuss about. But he's a big boy.
Wait, I'm here, and I. Where's that?
Hey, you are here. And actually, we just have to give our best wishes to Adam as well because he couldn't make it. He's not well either tonight, and he couldn't make it. So I hope he's feeling better as well. I'm sure he'll be back next week as well.
So he gets praise, and I get abuse for being there. He gets praise. How does that work?
Well, he's really ill, though, Dawes. That's the problem. Is he's really ill. You're just making it up, you see. But anyway. Terry says, good time, Richard. Boiler fixed and off to my next job. Great show. And many thanks. Oh, you see, you fixed boilers here. So you said you had a proper job. That's not a proper job, is it? Jesus Christ. Anyway, hopefully you'll be around tomorrow for the women's game. Anyway, hopefully you get all your boilers fixed in time. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, Terry, as always. So yeah, obviously, I'm sure Dorsey will be back to his full fitness next week. And I say Adam, hopefully, will be fit as well. So we look forward to that. I say I'll be back tomorrow for the women's game, 7:00. That is going to be good. So if you enjoy the Arsenal women, please tune in for that because they're doing well this season and they're certainly worth a watch, definitely. So that'll be good. So join me for that, and of course, loads of other stuff come out the weekend, of course, as well. So thanks to Melvin, as always, Dorsey as well, and of course Ross for the first time. Hopefully, it won't be too long till you're back on again, Ross. Good to speak to you again. Good to see you tonight. I'm glad you're well. And we will see you all tomorrow for the women's game. And of course, in the meantime, as always, come on, you gooners, come on, Arsenal. Let's keep this run going. Let's keep going. See you later, guys. Take it easy. Thanks for watching. Jesus said, "Paddy, I'm saying so well, because we're coming up."